what you'll have access to after this session is Stephanie's slides, plus this recording and this whole community that's available to you, GWW Connect. So next slide, Stephanie.
There you go, Mary.
Great.
That's us.
Hey, it is us. So Stephanie Smith, as you heard, has been overseeing collaboration efforts for the Great Lakes of North America, was the COO of the Great Lakes Water Alliance, and is now overseeing and helping stakeholders connect across the Great Lakes of Africa. And she's going to share insights of that experience. But she has just all of the attributes you want in a connector or a person who supports collaboration. Most importantly, a very positive view of the world and what we can do together to impact it. And I'm delighted to have her facilitating this session. But before I turn it over to her, I'd just like to go to the next slide to share with you where we've come as a result of your efforts. And I'm thrilled to have with us Margaret Mena, who is pictured up here on the upper left, because she has been the top referrer in the community. She's out of Kenya, delivering food to people isolated right now for COVID-19, but overseeing WASH programs. And this slide basically captures a number of you who have been instrumental recruiting people. We have a whole ambassador program. You get a bronze or a gold award for the people you refer. And actually, we have 2 authors in the group. So those who have reached the ambassador program get their choice of a digital book, All You Want to Know About Water by Greg Chick, the plumber who saved it all. Or you get the Save the Planet book by Katie Patrick, who's also a member of this community and has taught us how to gamify water savings. So I want to acknowledge too Neil Kumar, who I met in India, the next generation water leader. He has been curating across the globe some wonderful insights on where water came from, and has attracted more engagement through his content pieces than even me. So I think we can learn from the generation on how to connect and engage. And I just want to say thank you. All of you on this call have impacted areas of the water world, and we are just so incredibly grateful. Our goal is to support you in any way we can by curating content and giving you access to experts across the different silos. And my only ask is that you let us know what you need and share the information that you think that can help other people. And I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie, because you are in great hands with her for the rest of this call, and chat with me through the chat box. Thanks, Stephanie.
Great. Thank you, Mary. So I'm going to just keep us rolling here. And the agenda that I want to walk through with everyone real quick, just an overview here to say we're going to go through a round of introductions. So we're going to get everybody a little bit engaged here, so we get a voice in the call. We're going to talk about creating collaboration and get a little more specific about what that means here. I'm going to talk about a couple examples, including something related to the African Great Lakes, which Mary referenced earlier. And then we're going to talk a little bit about ways to build from this conversation moving forward. So we'll kick off with some introductions, and I'm going to ask Mary to start with your introduction. We're going to go around, and I think the quickest way is probably just to go down the list of pictures of people that I can see here, and ask you for your name, your affiliation, and your location, because we think we've got people from a number of places around the world here on the call, and then a real quick brief give and get. So we've got a lot of people on our call relatively for the amount of time we have. So we're going to ask you to be brief in doing the 5 things that are listed: your name, affiliation, location, what you have to give in the framework of this conversation and call, and what you'd like to get from it. So I'm going to have Mary kick us off with that, and then I'm not sure if everyone sees the photos in the same order that I do, but I can just call out names and we can go down that list real quick. So yeah. Mary, kick us off.
Yeah, and I just shared mine. I give you the community, GWW Connect, and everything I learned through that. And I ask that you just share what you learn and what you need in order to, the whole goal is to connect drops of interest for waves of impact. So we accelerate adoption of smart water management and smart technology.
Great, thanks, Mary. And you want to tell us where you're geographically located?
I'm right here in Libertyville, Illinois, so thanks.
Sharing my state. Okay, Christine.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and my name is Christine Whitty. I am with Vi Technologies. We are a technology that helps the water and wastewater treatment industries really have better control and visibility across the health of their assets so that they have the ability to plan downtime and not have failures impact their operations. And I met Mary through Water Online and was just really compelled by her story, her mission, her vision, and her energy. And I was actually the 500th member, which I thought was really cool.
And Christine, just so we can get everyone done, what do you want to get out of the community?
I just am really interested in learning about new technologies that are in this space that can help this space. We have a lot of customers across the water and wastewater space, and they don't have access to a lot of the new technologies that are out there, the resources to help them integrate them, and just the platforms for where they can gain awareness. So I'm hoping to be able to connect our clients and our partners to people like you folks and to learn from you as well and be an ambassador across the space. So that was my intention.
Great. Thank you. Shayna.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Shayna. I am a SWAN employee, the Smart Water Networks Forum. I'm located a bit further. I'm in Tel Aviv in Israel. And I'm hoping to give a lot to this community with all of our members and partnerships and alliances, really kind of focusing on different joint ideas that we could bring to really spread the knowledge of this, and really to get some feedback in terms of really what's going on in this industry as well as other industries. I studied environmental sustainability, so I'm also very interested in what's going on around the world.
Great, thank you. Barry.
Yeah, hi, my name is Barry Hofer. I'm about a week into having joined the community. My company, my advisory business is called Blue World Insight, and so I guess that's my current professional affiliation. But my career's been in corporate finance, and I'm in the Twin Cities of Minnesota most of the time. Where I've been very active in the NGO community. I would say what I can bring to the community is not necessarily my own advisory services, though I do that. I'm pretty connected on in Minnesota. If anybody, wants to discuss those things, I'm completing my water stewardship certification through AWS, and so I'd be happy to converse with anyone who's sort of interested in learning more about that. In terms of, what I'm hoping to get out of it is just, I would say, first and foremost, probably, community and connections and just sort of expanding my network, within water. I am interested in, water accelerators and venture capital activity and in the water technology space, and so I'm just sort of hoping to make some connections on that front as well. Anyway, glad to be a part of the group though, so thank you.
Great, thank you, Barry. We're going to go over to Jennifer.
Me, Jennifer?
Yes, you, Jennifer.
Okay. I'm used to having about 5 Jennifers on a call. So I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Biomicrobics. We're an original equipment manufacturer of water, wastewater, stormwater, gray water treatment systems, from on-site, residential to commercial to small municipalities. Up to 37,000 people can be on a decentralized wastewater system where it can treat all the water to standards where it's even available for water reuse. I apologize for getting pulled away. I'm double booked on we're doing training with our Peruvian distributors. We're in over 80 countries worldwide. We market in 17 different languages. So hablo español, pero italiano, gabriel paruski.
Great, thank you. Brianna?
Hi, my name is Brianna Huber. I am in East Moline, Illinois. I hope to give and get similar. I am a woman in water advocate, and I recently launched a nonprofit called Her2O, which is international and focused on women in the water industry. And so I hope to give and get collaboration and affiliation and support regarding women in the water industry. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Guillermo.
I am an inventor. I'm doing innovations in the water sector. I have a desalination process. A partial desalination process to feed reverse osmosis systems or to get water for agriculture.
Great. Great. Thank you. Melissa? Melissa, you're muted.
Yeah, I know, it wouldn't come.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
Melissa
sorry.
Meeker,
No worries.
Melissa Meeker with the Water Tower in Beaufort, Georgia. And we run an innovation center that specializes in demonstrations of new technologies and the visualization of those for utility interests. So always interested in increasing our network, my network, and learning about new technologies that we can bring to the campus and share with thousands of operators throughout the Southeast. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Emilio?
Hi, I'm Emilio Vargas. I'm the CEO for IntelliSea. We're a smart technology provider where homeowners and property managers can manage their water as well as protect their properties from water leaks. I'm out of sunny San Diego where it's going to be about, I think, 85, 90 degrees today. So enjoying the weather, hopefully, for a little bit. What I like to give is access to an advanced technology that's pretty simple and intuitive to use. And hopefully what I can get is access and understanding of all the different parts of the water industry. I'm kind of a rookie to it. I've been around for about 4 years in the industry, so looking to learn a little bit more. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anthony?
And I'm muting you, Anthony.
Yeah, I got it. Good afternoon. Yeah, Anthony Seppi. I'm down here in Cincinnati, Ohio, with the Hamilton County Business Center, and I'm the startup community manager here at the Hamilton County Business Center. We're an incubator, so we play in the innovation space, water tech innovation space, and we've got several of those startups in our program. So, what I'm looking to give to the community is, we've got a ton of resources down here in Cincinnati in the water space. We've got an EPA lab down here in Cincinnati, as among the, many other resources. So offering that up. And then, what I would love to get from the community is just trying to plug in, just trying to understand what's out there in terms of the resources, and if there's any innovative startups that want to kind of play down here in Cincinnati. We've got some pretty innovative water utilities in the region. So that's my goal objective. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Kyla with the beautiful background.
Yes, that background is shot from Destin, Florida, about 2 blocks from where I have a home, but I'm not there. I'm in Illinois. My name is Kyla Jacobson. I'm a retired utility director from Elgin Water. We're a medium to large size utility. And now I currently do work for the American Waterworks Association out of Denver. I'm doing training with small systems to help them get into compliance. What I hope to give is I've been in the water industry for over 35 years, and I have a lot of experience both operationally and managerially. As Mary mentioned, I was I started bringing some smart technologies to my utility before I retired, and they're not moving as fast as I was, but it's still there. And that's what I have to give. What I hope to get is just continuing to grow my education and learn a lot about what's going on and outside of my little confines of Illinois and see what's happening globally.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Roland?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Roland Walgren from Atmoswater Research in North Vancouver, Canada. And as far as giving to the community, I'd like to share my insights about the role of water from air systems in the um, whole sphere of water and sanitation challenges that face us. And I'd like to gain knowledge about the current water and sanitation projects that are being done by community members.
Great. Thank you. Frank?
Thank you.
My name's Frank Bergano. I'm Vice President Senior Research Fellow for Marmon Water, which is Marmon Holdings Company and a Berkshire Hathaway company. I'm responsible for identifying new innovative technologies for the company, and I'm running an innovation center in India. So one of the things I like to get from you guys is learn about new innovation and new technologies. I live in South Central Connecticut, just outside of New Haven, Connecticut. And in terms of giving, I've been in the water industry many, many years, so I'm able to give some expertise and advice on water treatment, water standards, etc. And another thing I would like to get is the name of the woman that said that she had a Women in Industry initiative, because I'm involved in our trade association's WIN program, which is Women in Industry, where I help mentoring women, and we help promote women in our industry. So I would like to hook you up with our trade association if possible. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. We're making connections here already. Thanks everyone for your patience in going through the names. It's helping us to all understand who's here, but also who's part of Global WaterWorks Connect. So Julia, we're going to ask you to go next.
Okay, I'm Julia Jacobson, and I'm with Water Harvesting, Inc. I'm located in San Jose, California, and we're hoping to give a technology that can help with water stress with our atmospheric water generators, and looking for community and connections.
Great. Thank you, Irene. Irene, you're muted.
Hi, everybody. I'm Irene Kaminer. I'm here in Chicago, Illinois, and I have come to this organization, like many of you, with 20 years of experience. From a legal standpoint, I was the general counsel to the City of Chicago Department of Water Management. Like Brianna and Kyla, I've been pretty active in the Illinois section of AWWA and in the Women in Water sector. I assist people, minority and women and people with disabilities, in getting certified as business enterprises. And I would love to give some of my expertise and get some of more knowledge and understandings from everybody else. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim O'Kane. I have a water consulting firm. I specialize in water conservation. I'm here in Santa Monica, California, and I'm thrilled to be here and to meet all of you. What I have to give is a water saver toolkit that I developed specifically for small to medium, some large agencies who are either new to conservation or want to expand what they're currently doing. So the kit includes rebates, policy model ordinances, water audits, and a school program. And so what I'm looking for is connections for a water agency that wants to pilot the updated kit. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Jen Kretzer, friend of mine from grad school. Thanks for being here. Tell everybody else who you are.
Hi, everyone. My name's Jen Kretzer, and I actually work for a science museum in northern New York. I'm in the Adirondack Park, and I manage a global youth climate program that works to convene young people around climate change and climate initiatives. And I literally saw this on Steph's social media, and I was like, this looks really interesting, because I'm interested in the sort of the networking and the kind of cross-sector collaboration between the water sector and the climate work I'm doing on a national and global level. And so I just hope to kind of cross-pollinate between the two. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jen. Donna?
Hi, I'm Donna Kaluzniak, and I'm here in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. It's nice and warm here. I've sort of like Kyla, I had over 30 years of experience as a municipal water employee and was a utility director for a small municipality, about 25,000 people. And I'm now retired and I own H2O Writing, and I do some technical writing and some case studies and marketing materials, that type of thing. What I hope to get from the group is I like learning about all forms of water, not just municipal, and finding information and giving that back. I also would be very willing to give you any of my municipal experience or expertise if anybody is interested. And what I'd like to get is more knowledge. I'm a water nerd, and eventually I'd like to write a book on water careers or careers in water. And I'd like to make it all encompassing if possible. Might be a little bit bigger project than I think, but thank you all. Good to meet you.
Yeah, I just want to give a heads up to everyone. Donna is the one who writes the weekly newsletter together. We do that every week. She's an amazing resource, populates the whole site with events all around the industry. So thank you, Donna. We would not be here if it were not for you.
Great, thank you. We're going to keep going. I appreciate what everyone's sharing and staying brief. We have a few more people than we anticipated on the call. So Tamara, we're going to turn it over to you.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Tamara Khan. I'm the program manager for an organization here in San Diego, California called TMA Blue Tech. We are the water and ocean cluster leader, which basically we're sorry about that. We have an industry association nonprofit where our member companies are all innovative water and ocean technology companies, and really, we have our goals in alignment with GWWC here, because we're just trying to connect everybody and break out of silos and see how much, cross-pollination can happen, as Jen said. So I'm here to contribute the network that we've been building. We have a strategic partnership with the U.S. Department of Commerce, so we have a very international reach. We really try to find places to help our companies get their technologies piloted and installed. I'm really thrilled to be part of this community, because here I am, I'm not having to take notes on everything everybody says. I can just revisit GWWC, and I know that Melissa has a demo facility and Anthony has resources in Cincinnati, and it's just so phenomenal to have us all on the same page. I really get excited about that. So I just wanted to say I don't have the same experience that everybody else does in water. I've only been at this a year. I was in the oil industry before, so I can see firsthand how things transfer, and it's really great to connect.
Thank you. We're going to go with F. Slovanek.
There I am, off mute. My name is Frank Slovanek. I am with Water Harvesting, Inc. I am located today in Hartwell, Georgia. Water Harvesting, Inc., we develop, using advanced technology, we develop systems that harvest water from the air using a very special technology. We do it in indoors and outdoors in all regions of the world, from 15% relative humidity up through the top of the line. What I expect to give certainly is support and perspective. I've only been in water for about 8 months. Very fascinating space. Expect to get certainly learning and relationships.
Great, thank you. Kristen, we're going to go over to you.
Hi, I'm Kristen Vanden Havel, also with the Water Tower with Melissa Meeker in Buford, Georgia. And I'm here today. I'm new to the community to provide information to those who might need it about our demo facility, and I hope to get more connections and expand our network.
Great, thank you very much. We're going to go over to Mike and Kathy.
Mike Reardon.
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was me or somebody else. So I'm Mike Reardon. I've been around the water industry for more than 25 years. I was one of the guys who started US Filter. I was one of the founders, first CFO, COO, then ran a bunch of divisions. That's where I met Frank Bergano. I was the CEO of Culligan for a number of years. And since we sold off all those things, I've been helping out in various other ventures. I built a private equity build up and helped a bunch of the VCs. And I know Frank Slavonek and Julia, and been working with Mary, and a few other names here are very familiar. So, I'm a big believer in connecting the dots. What helped make us successful at Culligan and at US Filter was driving integration and cooperation and coordination between technical people, salespeople, technologies, et cetera. So I'm a big believer that here in Chicagoland, I'm just down the street from Mary, Lake Forest. I'm a big believer that if you connect the dots on some of the little companies and technologies and between customers, that you can achieve a much greater value. So I'm here to help. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Ahmed.
Hi, my name is Ahmed Rat, for short. I'm here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where I just got my PhD from the City and Regional Planning Department. And so what I expect to give is my skills as a researcher. What I mostly do is evaluate programs and see if they work or they don't work. And what I hope to get is learning, relationships, and collaboration. So pretty much the same thing that everyone else is hoping to get out of this.
Fantastic, thank you. Olivia.
Hi, Olivia Lehman here, and I work with Water for Good. We are ending the water crisis in the Central African Republic, so the smack dab middle of Africa right now. And I'm in Chicago, Illinois. I'm right downtown. And what I'd like to give to this community is any information on international water implementation in poverty-stricken areas, any information I can give towards that. But I'd love to make connections with all of you and learn about water implementers, water tech in this community. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Gigi?
I have a question.
Gigi, you're muted.
Will you please remove the screen view?
I'm sorry, are you talking to me?
No.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Screen share.
Okay, great. I'm Gigi Cormus Edwards. I'm an independent consultant. My company is Cormus Edwards Consulting. I work with utilities around the world as well as companies around the world on digital technologies. I have a big focus on digital twin technologies, and as Mike said, I think of digital twin as really connecting the dots. Digital twin is not one application. It's really bringing several applications, several data sets together to really represent the physical system. And so for that, I started a working group within the SWAN organization I'm a co-chair of. And what I'd like to bring to this community is awareness of digital technologies for the water space. And of course, what I'd like to take is this beautiful collaboration. I've been collaborating with Mary for, I don't know how many years now, like 7 or 8 years, and it's been wonderful. And we always seem to end up connecting the dots together. So, so anyway, thank you so much for having me.
Great, thank you. We're gonna go over to Dr. Kat, Water Citizen.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me here. I'm Dr. Kat Schreier, founder of Water Citizen Foundation. We live to serve with interactive digital programs and media and educational programs for the whole water community, including both the water professionals and all the water aware folks that often end up in citizen boards and volunteers and sales and all the other aspects that work with all the water folks. We are in particular experts in public engagement, stakeholder engagement, and collaborative planning, and putting that into well-structured interactive digital events, and we are launching our Water and COVID-19, Your Home and Health, empowering people who are stuck in their homes, including water professionals who can design a plant and can't fix your toilet, of what are the choices that you can make. So as a public education, engagement, and empowerment event, we're offering the free registrations to that, and whatever help we can provide now that everyone's having to do virtual events. And as far as what help we could use, we would love to, one of the ways that these programs really work so well is getting that everyone shares the information, free events, it can reach a large audience. Next week, there's a program that has 300,000 people on it. I mean, this is how big these things can really get, because people don't have to travel. And we do have some great sponsorship opportunities and ways to recognize our sponsors. So thank you so much, Mary, for having us here.
Great, thank you. Bridget, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie.
Welcome.
My name is Eggert. I'm from Zimbabwe, originally from Zimbabwe, but currently I'm in Israel. I'm doing my master's degree in plant science and emphasis on food security and safety. I got introduced to Global Waters Network through Mrs. Mary, and I want to thank you so much for introducing me to this wonderful platform. I'm looking forward to learn a lot on water and to get as much experience I can have, so that I'm able to bridge the gap between the theory that I study in school to practical knowledge which can be implemented and used for the betterment of the lives of people, especially in Africa, in Zimbabwe, where I come from. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Gadi?
Hi, so my name is Gadi Sharon. I'm located in Israel. I'm currently the head of operations for Kendo. Kendo is a technological company. We provide with water utilities with a tool for managing wastewater collection system with all kind of things that can happen in collection systems, like things that affect the infrastructure, treatment plant, or public health. So I've been in Irvine, California, right before the COVID-19 outbreak at the end of February. And I had a presentation about data sharing. And there was important people from the water sector, beautiful people, smart people, that were telling me why data sharing is so complicated and unsecure. So I would like to break that thing. I believe that the water cycle, we have a lot of technological companies, and each one of them takes a spot in the water cycle, and we have to collaborate. And the collaboration comes from data sharing. We have to share. So
Great.
that's what I have to provide.
Thank you. Okay, we're running tight on time here. We're gonna keep going because it's important we all get to know each other. And thank you for keeping it brief. Greg, we're gonna go over to you. Greg, we can't hear you. Greg Chick? Greg, I don't know. I can't tell if you can hear me or not. We're going to go on over to Margaret. I don't think we've heard from you yet.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Margaret Maina from Kenya. Outside my house, that is why you can see it's a bit dark. I'm managing director of Rimuru Water and Sewerage Company, and I am a water chemist by profession. So I'm happy to be here with you today. I've been talking to Mary about the work we have been doing here in Kenya, and I'm happy to be in this community because there is a lot to learn from each other. One of them is networking and utility management. And I hope we are going to make a good community as we continue serving the mankind. Today, I've been working with our manual pit emptiers, whom have been looking for food to give them because they are out of work. Kenya, we are on total lockdown except for the people working in the special services. So these people who earn daily wages to buy food, I know they are having issues, and I thank me because she has also given something that I will also buy food to these people. So I'm happy to be with you. I'm happy to be a member of this community, and I'm hoping we shall all join to make this world a better place by providing clean water to the people that we serve. Thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you. Linda?
Hi, Linda Reed. I am currently in Chicago, but I have a business. I have a business in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, consulting firm Water 365. Water365.us is the website. I work in the water quality space, doing proposal development, stakeholder engagement, public outreach, education and training. I am an Alliance for Water Stewardship professional, and I have a National Green Infrastructure Certification Program training credential. So I am happy to talk with anybody about any of those sorts of things. And as far as what I'd like to take away is I love connecting people. So I would love to match some of you up with other people I know.
Great, that's a nice offer. So I'm just going to put it out there to everyone, since we have more people talking than we anticipated. We're going to run over time, we can already tell. So if you all have 20 more minutes, clear your next 20 minutes. We'd love to be able to have you continue and stay with us. Just giving you a little heads up. If you have to leave at the top of the hour, we totally understand. But just at this point, knowing that it's going to run a little bit longer, I'm just giving you a heads up now. We'd love to have you stick around. Julia, I don't think we've heard from you. My list has gotten a little bit confused here. So just in case I've called on you already or not called on you, just let me know. Julia.
I've already talked. Julia.
Great. Okay. Sue.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name's Sue Springsteen. I am the president of H2O Connected. We are a woman-owned early revenue water tech business located in Coatesville, which is right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We have a multi-patented product line under the Leak Alerter brand name that can identify and quantify every type of water loss problem that can occur in a tank-based toilet. So we're about to launch our wireless version for property managers, and I am really excited to meet all of you today. As far as give and get, I just want to contribute in any way I can and collaborate in any way I can. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Sue. Let's see, Maria.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Allman. I'm with Box of Rain. It's a startup in Chicago, Illinois. Our mission is to deliver an immediate relief water solution in a sustainable way. Right now, we've been responding to COVID-19 by distributing our safe water boxes across the country. And I'm really so excited to learn about everyone's innovative projects in the water community and collaborate as well. Thank you for having me.
Great, thank you, Maria. Eugene?
Hi everyone, my name is Eugene. I'm a development engineer from Water Harvesting Inc., a Bay Area-based startup where we are developing a sorbent-based atmospheric water harvester. And what I can give you is my knowledge in sorbent-based atmospheric harvesting solutions. And what I would like to get from this is to learn more about the other technologies which exist out there.
Great, thank you. Eric? Eric Crawford? Eric, we can't hear you if you're speaking.
Well, for you too, you're tall.
Sorry. Hi, it's Linda. I know Eric doesn't have a microphone on his computer, so he did write in the chat box.
Big spike.
So
oh, great. Okay.
We should probably mute him because his computer is operating weirdly.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, and then I do see we have a phone number at the end without a name. It's a 1309 number. If that person wants to introduce themselves, we'll wrap up there.
Hey, this is Brianna. I have a feeling it's my phone.
Oh, hey, Brianna. Okay, gotcha. No problem. We heard from you earlier. I think we've got everyone, and I'm going to keep us rolling here.
We haven't
So we're
heard
going to.
from Hardeep, I don't
If you haven't met Greg Chick, he is amazing. He does do-it-yourself plumbingadvice.com. He's Ramona's plumber out of California, and you'll be able to see him on the Your Home and Health program coming up. So I know his sound doesn't seem to be working on his phone.
Thank you, Gigi. And you were saying we haven't heard from
Hardeep Anand. I see his
video.
I'm here. Can you hear me, guys?
Oh, so Hardeep, I'm so sorry. Please jump in and tell us more about yourself.
That's okay. And I know you're running short of time, so I'm going to ramble really fast. First, I want to give a shout out to Margaret Maina from Kenya, Margaret Jumbo. I'm from Tanzania myself, so it felt being close to home. Second, I serve as the Deputy Director here at Miami-Dade Water and Sewer. I oversee a very large capital improvement program and resiliency. As you know, Miami is ground zero from a resiliency standpoint. So while everyone was speaking, I'm so happy to go last because I was just smiling ear to ear from the knowledge to innovation to tech. What I'm here to share is, from a give standpoint, is we actually just founded on Earth Day yesterday, launched an academy called the One Water Academy. The website is onewateracademy.org. And Gigi and all of you folks from IT Networks have been very, very much engaged. Melissa Mika is there on it and so on and so forth. So the platform basically integrates nonprofits, technologists, academia, community, utilities. It brings everybody together from a standpoint of creating an online collaborating and a knowledge exchange platform so that we can scale knowledge horizontally and vertically within utilities, but most importantly, to operationalize all of the efforts we make from a technology space as well as from a research and development space to build the water workforce for the future. There'll be 25 free licenses being given away. So the instructions are all on the website. You guys can share that with the members. To get, I basically very modestly would like to learn from all of you here and from a two-pronged standpoint, one for the academy, but two from the work I do in my day job. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, so just so we're closing the loop on this, we're good with introductions? Everybody, there's going to be a quiz on this later. Just kidding. We did though have a request to share this information of who's attended and some contact info. So me too, taking notes, but we'll see what we can do. Marianne, I'll touch base and see how we can make sure that we can keep people and ideas connected here through this conversation following what we're about to talk about, which is a little more collaboration. So I'm going to go over to going back to the slides, and hopefully this will all go seamlessly with technology. We'll see what happens. Hopefully you're seeing my screen now, and maybe you always were, but we're going to talk through just real quickly a little bit about, I think we kind of get the gist of why we're here. There was a lot of commonality in our agendas and talking about collaboration, how to do this better, how to share ideas, how to get people connected. One of the reasons that I am so interested in this topic of collaboration is that I've spent a lot of my career, whether it's within an organization, helping collaboration work better, or from organization or entity to entity, helping people collaborate better. And about a year ago, I did an informal study where I talked to 48 global water experts, and I asked them, how do we accelerate the pace of positive change for people and water? And they told me a lot of interesting things. One of the most frequently mentioned ideas that they had, or concept that they really wanted to see happen more broadly, was that we break down the silos, and that more knowledge sharing can happen as a result of breaking down those silos. And when they said that, they were talking about silos even within water, which we know water is has its own set of silos and sort of realms that people work on. But we also know that, as you know, our friend Jen Kretzler said earlier, within even the environmental community, climate and water, two different sectors that are coming together and working more closely. But then, of course, there's, you know, even larger sectors outside of, there's an environment and a health connection that's being made much more closely than it used to be. So breaking down those silos across sectors, but also across geography, which is wonderful to have people from so many different places here today, and thinking about how what we learn in one place can be shared and adapted to other places more efficiently now, I imagine, than any other point in time.
Yes, Stephanie, before continuing,
ahead, Mary.
we're not seeing your screen. I took it down for people, so if you could reshare it.
Okay, thank you. I can definitely reshare it. I just need to figure out where the
things. The share button should be down on the
share
bottom.
button's not showing up anymore for me. So let me see if I can figure out how to do that real quick.
If you could continue.
I'll continue talking while I'm looking. So the other few things that, oh, sorry, Mary, go ahead.
I'll get it down and share it.
Okay.
Or just make her the host.
Oh, yeah, good plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, my screen just does not show any way to share the screen for the moment here. So the other few categories that came out of these talks were, you know, in addition to breaking down silos, helping entities understand their place in the big, you know, kind of the big picture of the work we're all doing, figuring out how to better leverage our own strengths and not trying to all do everything, but work to our own strengths, how to share our knowledge more strategically, again, across sectors, how to measure what matters with more common metrics, and then how to elevate smart innovations, which have been a number of people talking about the innovations that they're working on for water, how to elevate those and get them out to the world at a grander scale, how to create a water value culture, and then also how to center humans with an equity lens. So these are, I could do a whole talk on each of these things, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more about some of what came out of that, because really all of these topics are tied together and can be better achieved through collaboration. So collaboration became my central theme that came to light through these series of conversations that I had. Mary, I'm not seeing any change here with being able to share the screen.
I did share I made you the host, so if you could try.
Okay.
Can you get it by going to the three dots in the right corner of your square?
I'm so sorry, I don't have three dots anywhere right now. Let's see, I can try ending the slideshow and resharing. Sorry about the technology, everybody here.
It happens, no worries.
Do you have a
Let's
blue
see.
icon in your base with what looks like a camera in it? If you click on that, it'll bring Zoom back up.
Not the camera. There should be one about the middle that says share screen. But
You guys are all so nice. I'm sorry, I actually don't, whoop, okay. Now I've really,
okay.
Let's see, so still nothing, huh? Let's see if I can figure it.
I can bring it up.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, great.
All right, let's try this. This should do it. I'm so sorry about that, everyone. Desktop 2, are you seeing my screen?
I am not, no.
Still not, okay. Oh, let's see. Okay, how about now?
There you go. Something's happening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so right now, this is probably not the perfect, let's see if I can get it in the more perfect format. But so what I was just talking about with the collaboration theme that came out of all of my interviews, in this slide that you see, how can we be better at one water collaborators? And of course, water and climate, they are connected, but where water intersects with so many things, we want to be able to be better collaborators across all these different areas. So that for me was, it was great to see that come forward. And so it made me think a lot about the scale and scope of collaboration. And today what I'm talking about can be scaled down to collaborating within an entity, within an organization, or across sectors. There are key ways of working together that have their ups and downs that we'll talk a little bit about as I go through some of these slides. This might be familiar to people who know the work of Team of Teams, which is a book on collaboration. It talks a little bit about, it's actually written by Stanley McChrystal, who's in the military, and talks about different ways of working together. This Team of Teams on the far right talks about ways to mix it all up, bring together different hierarchies, bring together members of different teams within one entity or across multiple entities as an ideal to work toward in terms of being able to be both more agile and adaptive if you're doing it well, but also able to share knowledge across these sectors. It's not an easy process to get to, but just putting that out there as an ideal and as a something to think about and look for and work toward. So thinking about collaboration, again, the idea is that we do this in different ways within the places that we work. First, that center circle talks about coordination, and then building on top of that into being able to cooperate, and then into even a larger, more complex structure of collaboration. So thinking about how those different layers kind of build up, and sometimes we call coordination collaboration, but in fact, we're really just aligning our activities. When we're actually working more deeply together and co-creating work, then that's what I'm talking about in terms of collaboration. And that's a more complex level and system of working, and it requires several things, but trust being a real key one. And just thinking about the activity that we just went through in terms of listening to everyone and getting to know each other's names and faces a little bit. Those are some of the first steps to being able to build on, thinking about who could we either coordinate, cooperate, and then eventually collaborate with. It's not easy, as I said, and as Mary and I were talking about this, we were talking about understanding clearly the hurdles that we face, not necessarily to focus on those hurdles, but to figure out how we get up and over those hurdles. And these different challenges were things that I've frequently heard both in my own work and in these interviews that I did with people, that there are barriers. So our job as a community is to figure out a way over, under, around these barriers. And so, thinking about our end goal and knowing that the potential impact that we can have in working together, it's much greater than the impact we can have alone, which is a big reason we're all here. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that, collaboration help us to do. They help us to navigate and to understand first where we are in the big picture, and then how we can connect to others to get, in my case, my background is mostly in nonprofit work. So I often think about how do we get greater good work done together? And so how do we amplify that impact toward the greater good that we're all trying to achieve? And collaboration helps us to navigate and understand where we are in that big picture, what our role can be, should be, and how we can scale that appropriately. Other benefits of collaboration, which I was hoping that I could spend some time and get you all to weigh in the chat here, but we're a little bit tight on time. So I'm just going to go through a couple of benefits in terms of understanding, being aware of ourselves and our own entities, and then having creative friction, which, sounds like maybe it could be uncomfortable, creative friction, but it actually is a great way to think about, how we don't always have to agree when we meet together. In fact, we often don't. When that friction and that ability to discuss and build build on each other's ideas, that creative friction can help us all grow and take a longer view of where we are now and where we want to be or can be, thinking about how we can grow or scale differently, maybe knowing that someone else is taking on a task or a project that we thought maybe we would, all of a sudden, maybe we don't have to do that. We can work toward our strengths to take on something that's going to be a little bit different and hopefully more appropriate for our own entities. Reducing duplication, of course, is a great thing to do, and then learn. Of the 48 people that I spoke to with my study, everyone talked about wanting to learn from others, and so did we here today when we introduced ourselves. I'm going to acknowledge that it is top of the hour here, so if folks need to jump off the call, I do understand. I'm going to continue, and I hope that you can stick around so we can have a little bit of conversation at the end. I'm going to continue with these slides and say that two examples of collaboration and both network building that I have experienced, I wanted to just share briefly with you. One is in a place, I didn't get to say where I am, but I'm in the Chicago area, and I've done many years of work on the North American Great Lakes. One of the entities that I helped to start is called the Great Lakes Network, which is the only network that works across the US-Canadian borders and incorporates First Nations into the network in a way that a couple of years ago hadn't existed. And most recently, this network has been able to come together and share and amplify work related to a really serious topic of water shutoffs. In a lot of the Great Lakes states, there are issues where people are not able to pay their water bills and their water has been shut off. And so that's been an amplified problem with COVID-19. And so these entities have been able to come together and share their strategies for getting water turned back on. Most of these entities are nonprofits, and thinking about how to help each other learn from what they've been doing, but also thinking about how to strategize to amplify the impact across the region for how to make sure people have access to the water they need during this time. And then the other network that I want to talk about briefly here is another geography, also called the Great Lakes, but it is the African Great Lakes. And a lot of people ask me or tell me that they didn't know that there were African Great Lakes, and those are usually North Americans who think that the only Great Lakes we have are in our Midwest backyard here. That's wrong. I'm here to tell you that there are 7 African Great Lakes, and I recently facilitated a meeting that brought together 10 different countries from these 7 lakes, all the bordering riparian countries of these lakes. And the idea, which is now, this was back in November, the idea which is now has begun and the wheels are turning, is to develop advisory groups for each of those 7 lakes, which are multi-jurisdictional. So meaning that all of them have more than one country bordering them. So one of the interesting things that came about was that many people who came to this meeting had not really thought about the African Great Lakes as being a place where we could build a network and be able to share knowledge, because they're very focused on their own lake. They're pretty geographically disparate, so that makes a lot of sense that you would only focus on the lake in your backyard because it's a very big geography. However, in bringing people together, what was really interesting was the idea of how we can learn from each other on these different lakes about some of the similar issues. Some of them have different issues, but there are a lot of similarities, and how we can build a network of these advisory groups to bring this knowledge together. And so that's a work in progress, those advisory groups. One of the things that's been really interesting is to make sure that it is African-led by the countries who are bordering these lakes. But also, how can we learn from other parts of the world who have Great Lakes? How can we learn from the North American Great Lakes or other parts of the world who have dealt with some of these same issues or are still dealing with them? But being very aware of who's leading this work and who are the decision makers with this work. And in this case, making sure that the European and the North Americans are lifting up the Africans leading this work and making sure that the decision makers are the Africans who are going to be impacted by these decisions. So that's been a really interesting piece of work, and a lot of listening has been involved in that work. So I just want to pull out a couple takeaways from that. One is for both of those projects, the idea was thinking about how to create an ecosystem of partnerships to reach the greater good. And I am putting this out there and encouraging you all to think about that within your own work and within our community here in GlobalWaterWorks. How do we create that ecosystem? And we need to understand and keep revisiting these questions about, where are we going? Why do we need each other? Because we do. Who's leading? And that may be a different answer. All of these questions may have different answers every time we ask them. And how are we adapting, which is a really important thing to keep revisiting. The evolution of our work and being able to go back to what we've learned, taking those lessons and figuring out, once we've broken down those silos, how do we continue to adapt and continue to move toward that greater good? And so just a couple more slides here and thinking about what makes collaboration work. There's a little bit of secret sauce involved in making it all work, but there's also just a lot of patience and common sense with this. However, we all have our own agendas that we want to achieve, and so that often gets in the way because we really want to make sure we get to, that end point that our company or our entity wants to get to. So some of the magic is figuring out how to zip it and listen. So when you are quiet and not putting your own ideas out all the time, you will hear some very magical things from other people, and letting those influence the direction of the work and of the collaboration, so that it is a true collaboration. And thinking about what the shared goals and values are. Sometimes you'll realize that you don't have shared goals, and maybe your values aren't so aligned. So being able to address that early on and understand how that's going to influence the project, the transparency behind that is really important. It may not be that you have to have perfectly aligned goals, but there may be parts of the project that can benefit from everyone's engagement as long as there's transparency around that. Building on areas of traction where you see energy and momentum, it's much easier to get that moving forward than trying to build all that momentum yourself and trying to push that forward when it may not be the right time. So thinking about the timing for traction is also important. And then finally, I would say regular communication, building trust, like what we've done today, and the regular communication that comes up in GWW Connect, paying attention to each other, who we are, and what we're doing, helps to build relationships which then over time and shared experience evolve to a greater trusting relationship. And then finally, I just want to get to a closing point here and ask us to use the chat for this. In planning for the future we want, that's the opportunity that we have. And I've read so many articles these past weeks, you perhaps have as well, about transformation and about planning for the future that we want. And thinking about what's happening now as the world works to address COVID-19 gives us a moment in time to try to think about what transformation can look like, and how we've laid bare many problems in societies around the world, showed some strengths as well. And so it gives us an opportunity to think about transformation and to think about how we can work for that future that we want. So my question to you all is to think about what you've been thinking about, or what this discussion today makes you think about in terms of enhancing knowledge sharing and collaboration within your own entities. And you may have some really concrete next steps. Someone said, I want to know the name of the person who talked about X, Y, and Z. And I assume that you will follow up. That's great. If there are bigger ideas that this is sparking for you, we'd love to hear those as well. So Mary, I'm not able to see the chat probably quite as easily without
I can see it.
Interrupting the flow. So if you can see the chat, if you want to share a couple of ideas that people are sharing, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
I think, so everyone, you can drop your notes in the chat down on the right-hand side of your screen. If you do have ideas to share, I can just mention, we didn't go over, and many of you may not know, there are private groups that you can use within our community. If you need a group set up, we can set one up for you so that you can share within the community. And there's also a courseware capability for training, which we know is a key thing for the workforce of the future. And a number of you did add your stuff to the bulletin board, so that's a great way to share what you're working on if you need help with initiatives. What else? Linda Reed, you should chime in here. Linda Reed is created the Academy, the first business institute for water, and she is an amazing mentor. And Kat, yeah. Do you want to add anything, Linda?
About how to better collaborate, or how collaboration.
Yeah,
work?
what you would do in response to this call and what you've seen. You put together workshops.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to maybe put people or help people define more concretely their interests. And water is a huge topic. And if we can maybe do subgroups and subcategories of spaces. So, I work mostly in the water quality space as it relates to stormwater, Clean Water Act sorts of things. Although I'm doing some work for AWWA, I don't do a lot with drinking water. I don't do WASH. So I don't know if there's a way to make these subgroups and start from there, and then pose issues that we're all dealing with. I know some of the technologies are applicable across, many platforms and topics, but sometimes I think if you start with a group that has such diverse interests, it's hard to kind of feel a part of something cohesively and tight.
Mm-hmm. And that's an excellent point. And we learned Zoom does facilitate that subgroup. And there was a large contingent group here that's moving forward the atmospheric water harvesting. So there's a special group. There are special groups within the GWW Connect that you can opt in for on energizing water savings for efficiency, on the atmospheric water, on the smart water with digital twin, which Gigi's leading. We need Brianna to get the Her2O, the women's group, and Kyla going on that. And Linda, we'd love someone like you to run the stormwater. Water quality. So whatever you wish for, guys, just by the way, it comes back to you in this organization. You are the creator. I see Hardeep's mentioning the One Water Academy, accessing courses through that, contributing courses. Jennifer Cisneros offering training and webinars for any entity. Beautiful thing about water, most people offer their expertise for free, and that's great. And just, we will continue logging this stuff through the bulletin board on this event, but also Stephanie's an amazing resource, and so few people said we need to continue this dialogue. So I think you had additional collaboration strategies, Stephanie, that you can share in a future thing, potentially a course or leadership development.
Yeah, this is really just the beginning in so many ways. And I think one of the kind of closing thoughts here, it is about this is a beginning, and being able to think about other sessions that we can bring to GlobalWaterWorks Connect, or ways that we can intersect with other initiatives like the One Water Academy and different things that we know about that, certainly as you all were talking, I know the same things happening for us all, that we're thinking like, oh, this connects to, a person I know or an initiative I'm aware of, and figuring out how to make sure we can help others get to where they want to go in the world is, it's part of being part of this kind of a connected community. I know that it's now 1:15, and we know we want to wrap things up a little bit here. If there are any questions that people wanted to ask. I didn't pause much in my my slides here. In the last minute or two, if there's a question or two that anyone wanted to ask about the content that I put out here, I'm happy to answer a question or two before we close. And we want to wrap up with one more slide after this about next steps. So any questions real quick?
Margaret Manus says it's important for us to invite many people into the community to create a sharing forum, and also the diversification of communities does give you richer content. And Brianna said we've got to keep a gender lens on this stuff so that we're aware there are different filters, and she can help with that. Water 365 is also Linda's effort, women-owned and small certified business leaders. She can help with both the business end of water, which we all need to address, which is holding us all up. And Hardeep mentioned there you can all get in for the drawing if you go to the onewateracademy.org now and submit your stuff. So what do we win, Hardeep?
Say that again.
What do we win at the drawing?
Well, so the Academy has a platform. It's a digital collaboration platform that will go live on June 30th. So you'll get an access to a complete unlimited access to the platform. It's worth about $400 eventually. But over the entire year, you would be able to share your knowledge and content, but also consume content, right? So we would be looking to reach out to the experts and then, share all of that information through the platform.
Yeah, a great channel.
Great.
Totally. Thanks. And Irene Kamener volunteered her legal services, a woman-owned business, and also can assist with certifications of that. And let me see. And Greg Chick, by the way, said he can answer any question on premise plumbing. And he has a YouTube channel that actually nets about a great deal of visitors and a nice revenue stream for him. It's the do-it-yourself plumber, Ramona's Plumber, and he's in our community. So he offered books, and I can get books to everyone to educate others on water.
Great, great. This is great. I'm reading through the chat as well, and there's just so many wonderful things in here, pieces for us to follow up and be able to share with the community. So this is great to see. I know, Mary, we wanted to make sure we talked about our next steps in terms of being part of Global WaterWorks Connect. Do you want to walk through these as we close out?
Yeah, very simply, I think most of you guys have already done this. And Stephanie, thanks for being a great example, not only filling out your profile, but finding your tribe, creating your tribe, and then use the bulletin board. The bulletin board is a new idea. We created it as an ongoing article. You can think about it as anyone who's did the original DOS. They went to a computer bulletin board, and that's how it all started, with group sharing. So we encourage you to add your activities, and we'll keep that up to date. And then tap plus. On the plus side, when you go into the community, you can add peers, you can invite people, you can get credit, you can be an ambassador. Add organizations you come across that aren't part of the community. Global WaterWorks is not intended to replace anyone. We're an inch deep, a globe wide, and just wanting to shine a light so that we reduce duplication of effort. Stephanie brought that up earlier, and we move forward together, building on each other's great work with the One Water Academy, with the Water Tower. You'll see there are a few organizations. Get involved locally with focused experts. Go deeper as you see things that you like. There's this drawdown, Forbes initiative, the UN global SDG goals, everything's in there. We try to put everything in there. And if you can't find something, reach out. But here are just a few organizations: the Alliance for Water Efficiency, SWAN, AWWA, that we believe are leading the thought leadership on the future of water. NACWA also should be in there. So we'll do our best to be a net, but we really need your eyes and ears and value your expertise, everyone. So that's great. Anyone else have next steps you want to suggest we all do? Put them in the chat.
Mary?
Great.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hardeep.
Hey, quick question. I see some of the chat notes there that I am not a member. Looks like at Global Water Connect. So I'll make sure I'll go ahead and become a member. So they can reach out, because I'm getting a few chats privately that said, "Hey, you're not a member."
How are you? We didn't limit you, Hardeep. Yes.
So I'll go in and make a member as an academy member. So I'll love to interact with everyone and extract knowledge and collaborate and scale it out. We've got 2,600 folks here. We keep talking about it. And we've got to create more of these water ambassadors, so to speak.
Yes. Well, thanks. And it's not something any of us can do solo. It's a system. And Stephanie, I can't thank you enough for if everyone could applaud Stephanie. So just open your mic.
You. Thanks to you all. Thanks to everyone. It was really a pleasure to meet you all today. And I look forward to seeing you on Global WaterWorks Connect and figuring out ways that we can all work together in this a great community that's being created, and break down those silos, bring ourselves together to do great work and do greater good work. So thank you very much, everybody.
And next stay call. Oh, you were going to say stay safe.
I was going to say stay safe and stay healthy. Now you go ahead.
Yeah, and a few folks said, what's next? So we're all in the community. We actually have a stormwater webinar coming up on the 29th, and we have a digital transformation webinar coming up with Gigi and Melissa and Hardeep will be back to share steps to transform utilities for real-time monitoring and management. And we invite your solutions and are happy to promote your events as well, guys. So, someone said we do create a forum for everyone to submit what kind of collaboration they are looking for. So I would just say, put that in the bulletin board, and we can, we'll find out if we need a group, but you're part of the community right now. And the beautiful thing is, unlike event apps, which end at the time of the event, this is a permanent event app where you're in Kenya, you'll see that you're right near Margaret, or you'll see that you're in New Zealand next to Robert Breers. You'll see people from the community as you travel around the globe. So we hope this will become the connection point. But thanks again, Stephanie, and all of you for inspiring all of us.
Thank you.
Happy Earth Week.
Yes.
Happy Earth Week. Thank you.
Thanks so much for all your work, Ray.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Pat, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
You guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Good to have you here. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
And everyone. Yes, Shayna, so nice to have you. And Brianna will get that hair 2.0, and Kat will be at your event.
Awesome.
Donna, thanks for continuing to fuel us with everything.
Thank you.
Kim, and we've got to get your future workforce thing going, Donna. Have them trained by Kim and Kat and Stephanie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
I'm ready for your book to come out, Donna.
You guys, I forgot we should crowdsource that. Everyone here has a chapter. All you need to do is
I'm finally starting to write and present again, which I haven't done in years. It's like things are finally gelling to the point where I feel like I can convey what is so unique about this approach and why it's so needed and how it fits in so well with everything else that folks are doing. We're not duplicating or anything. It's just a way to bring it together and get at in a very focused, results-oriented, problem-oriented, viewer-oriented, attendee-oriented fashion.
Totally. Yeah. So good to have you with us, Kat and Kim and Donna and Stephanie. Anything else I'll get the notes together. I'll stop the video just now. Let me see, stop recording. Stop. I hope